What's happening then? Yo, this is a live show. Glad you guys are tuned in. Just getting some text messages back. I sent out the word. It's a test pilot show. Welcome to Smoke, Drink, Vibe, and Love. I'm your host, Coach Hughes. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. And definitely show some love in the chat. And what's up, man? What's up? Got a Facebook user talking about, hey, bro, what's up? What's happening? Glad you tuned in. Definitely tuned in. This is a little bit different show. As you see, my co-host is not here because this is just my show. All right. But definitely miss her. Shout out to April. She's doing a wonderful job and a phenomenal job as a co-host and co-host of our other show, Conversing and Relating. She gonna kill me about that. She gonna kill me about that. What's up, cuz? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Aggravated man. Ain't no telling what aggravated man is at. This Negro is everywhere. Okay. This Negro is everywhere. But we're gonna get down to the business. Welcome to the show. This is the Test Pilot Show. All right. Thank you for tuning in live and in Facebook. Man, I'm gonna get y'all. I got my people showing up for me today. Y'all doing y'all thing. Mississippi's in the house, Texas in the house. Shout out Kenny Cash. What's up, man? How you doing? What's going on? We got a lot to talk about today. I'm gonna get to it and try not to keep y'all too long. All right, y'all sit on down, tune in, get in there, come in the room. All right, so today's sponsor, we got the same sponsor, hot sauce. You know, niggas love hot sauce. Okay, niggas love hot sauce. Okay, we got that Villa's hot sauce. This is I think I'm still pronouncing it right. Villa's hot sauce. Best hot sauce you ever tasted. Black owned, a good friend of ours out of Austin, Texas. Black owned business. You know, we got to support black owned businesses. If you click that or follow that link below and go to www.villashotsauce.com, you get 25% off by using the code Hughes and Kisses. Okay. Hughes and Kisses. If you know, you know. I'm gonna leave that up there. 25% off Villa's Hot Sauce. Our sponsor for today. Thank you for that sponsor. Definitely go support black businesses. Get you some hot sauce. That 25% off actually is for the year. Okay. It's for the year. All right. That's how we doing today. All right. We got comments in the section. We got comment. Brandon. What it do, Brandon? What's happening, brother? Point Dexter. I don't know if that's his real last name, but we're going to go with it. Shout out to Brandon doing his thing. Shout out to Kenny Cash doing his thing. Andre, Mississippi's in the building. You got to check out Andre's podcast. Him and my sister be doing some good things on their podcast. They got good interviews. Hope to have good interviews just like that. All right. So today's also cigar is Marquesa. Okay. It's a good light, medium body cigar. We're going to light that up. And of course, you see the Douce right there. It's not that regular Douce. You got to get the one that comes in a box with it mean anything. Okay. We got lots to talk about, people. There's a lot of stuff going on. And this is kind of what the show is going to be like. We going to get into some shit today. Okay. Now I'm going to put it up on the screen what we're going to talk about. And also, I want you guys to comment in the comment section. And if you want to come in live, I'm going to bring you in live so you can give your comments live and we can have this live discussion on the air about our topics. Now, if you got the text or if you got the Facebook post or anything else, you know we're going to talk about some stuff that's happening right now, some hot topics that's going on. All three of these topics, you know, you care about, but I guess we're going to talk about it. First thing we're going to talk about this 4B movement versus the drizzle comeback. Okay. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to social media, you've been living under a rock, whichever the case may be, women have came out with this 4B movement, right? 4B. All right. We're going to talk about that. But men recently have come out with this drizzle. in reaction to 4B. Okay. It's actually in reaction to 4B and Sprinkle Sprinkle. Okay. If you know anything about that, you know what it is. If you don't know about Drizzle Drizzle, do your homework. But we're going to get into it. Okay. For those who know, you know. And for those who don't know, you'll find out soon. Okay. We're also going to talk about the J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake beef. Okay. We're going to get y'all take on that. He released some good tracks, but then Kendrick came back and apologized. What y'all think about that? See, some of my Facebook friends have definitely been saying Drizzle Drizzle. I've been saying that Drizzle Drizzle. I get it. I'm glad you've seen it. So you know what we're talking about when we talk about Drizzle Drizzle versus 4B. If you haven't seen it again, you'll know in a few minutes because we're going to go over it. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the NBA. Okay. It's NBA season. Things is going down. Who's your team? Who you got? Who's going to the finals? Who's going to the playoffs? Right? What's going to happen in this NBA season? LeBron's son is going pro. He entered the draft. What do you think about that? We're going to talk about all that and more today. Get the likes up on Facebook. Get the likes up on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe. Keep the comments going. Somebody said they don't like it. It's corny. Okay. J. Cole is out. He's trash, Brandon says. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Oh, his son is trash for the NBA. LeBron's son is trash. Okay. I happen to think so too. I happen to think his son is not as good. And I think it's premature that he's entering the NBA. But again, we'll get on it. We're going to cover that topic. Don't you worry. It is going to be what it is. Let's get into it. This is real serious. Real seriously funny. Okay. What are your thoughts on the 4B versus the Drizzle Drizzle movement? Okay. Now, who in the comment section, let me know in the comment section if you know what 4B is. Okay. Who knows what 4B is? Let me know in the comment section if you know what 4B is. Okay, if you don't know, we'll get into it. And if you know, try to educate in the comment section. Again, if anybody in the comment section wants to come on live, definitely let me know. I will invite you on live and we could talk about it. Don't be camera shy. Okay. And you ain't got to hold your tongue because this is Facebook or whatever we're streaming on. I don't know. But if you want to come on live, let us know and we'll get you on live. Other than that, let's talk about it in the comment section. Somebody said sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. So 4B, if you don't know what it is, 4B is basically a movement that some modernized feminists have came up with to say that they're going to take sex off the table. Now, if you follow my, what is that? TikTok account, which you should, you would know that I asked a very legitimate question, which is with 4B, what is the end goal? And do you guys have an underlying message? Okay. Yeah. No sex with men, no child rearing, no marrying, and no dating of men. Who said that? Who said that? That's what somebody said. Somebody said that. That's what they said. That's right. That's what 4B is. 4B is this movement. Actually, let's call it what it is. Western 4B is this movement, right? Because it didn't originate here in the United States. It originated in another country, I think China, Taiwan, somewhere like that. And they were having an issue. And so their, response was, we're going to take sex off the table. That's the ladies' response. Korea. Okay, there it is, Korea. Okay, thank you, my Facebook user. So Korea is where this movement came from. And they're basically saying in Western society for modern women that they're just going to take sex off the table as it is, right? They're not fucking with men at all, right? All right. And they're trying to use it as a leverage. Somebody said pussy strike. That's exactly what it is. It's a pussy strike. as aggravated man would put it, all they pussy trash anyway if they going on strike. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Anyway, that's what it is, essentially. It's a pussy strike. All right. And that's okay. Because I've had some conversations with some women in this movement who wanted to have conversation. They were saying, hey, this movement is really about vetting men better before we sleep with them and give them the goodies. We feel like we've been giving our goodies to trash men and getting bad results. So we want to vet them better. We want them to like us for us and not for our sexual desires or whatever the case may be. Not sexualize, hypersexualize us, all that stuff. And I was like, that's cool on the surface. That's cool. How many of y'all think that's bullshit though? Right? How many think that's bullshit? You want to go live? Okay, cool. Go. Let me go ahead and bring you in. Go and state your name so I can give you that live invite in Messenger. But how many think that's bullshit? How many think that's that's just not a good deal to say in Western society, right? Right? Because let's face it, do you think real men were worried about sex in the first place? Right? Did you think that real men were worried about your vagina and having sex with you? No, real men weren't worried about that. They were not. They were worried about companionship. They were worried about other things. And the one thing that you feminist ladies decided not to do or to do was to take the one thing off the table that we weren't worried about in the first place. Right? My boy DeLon said, didn't Steve Harvey? No, Brandon said, didn't Steve Harvey do a book about that? Think like a man, act like a lady, something like that. Yeah. Something like that. Again, they took sex off the table, guys. Which to me, on the surface, I agree. Let me play devil's advocate. I agree. You should take sex off the table, right? You shouldn't lead with it. You shouldn't use it as leverage. And you should also vet men more better. So before you be sexually active with them. I agreed with that. All right. Here's the problem. Again, we weren't worried about it. Real men weren't worried about sex. It was only the, unworthy men that you were giving your cootie to or entertaining that was actually worried about sex, right? Real men weren't worried about sex. Yeah, Steve Harvey is trash. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right, DeLon. It got to be created by somebody who never knew or encountered a real man. The movement itself was stolen. All right. It was stolen from Korea for a whole different reason, modernized and weaponized in the West. And now they're using it as leverage. I've been on places in social media where some women are saying, I've been 4B for years. I've been 4B for 5 years. And I've been doing this. There's a lot of echo chambers on social media amongst, women who think like this. And again, on the surface, right? On the surface, I think it's a good idea if you're using it to vet men before you give them your goodies. I think it's a good idea. But what's the end goal? That's what I asked. That was my question of the day. What's the end goal, right? What's the underlying message? Because really, they didn't have an underlying tone, right? And so I got called everything but a child of God, I got it taught. I mean, they called me everything, guys, literally. There were some butthurt women on social media simply because I asked, what's the end goal and what's the underlying message to 4B, right? I debated every last one of them. A couple of my people saw me clown a couple of females that couldn't even use slang the proper way when typing. Like, it was just crazy, right? But let's shift gears, because now there's another movement out by men in response called Drizzle Drizzle. Does anybody know what that is? Let me know in the comment if you know what Drizzle Drizzle is. Put Drizzle Drizzle up in the comments. Let me know if you know. I stayed in 4C. I don't care about 4B. My boy Brandon said, I stayed in 4C. If you don't know what 4C is, I'm going to educate you later. Basically, he stayed in Coochie. He don't care about no without Coochie. So 4C, 4B. Anyway, if you know what Drizzle Drizzle is, though, let me know in the comments. Do you know what Drizzle Drizzle is? Who knows what Drizzle Drizzle is? Does anybody know what Drizzle Drizzle is? It's the male response to 4B. And basically what they did, a group of men, they came back and they said, we're going to use reverse psychology on women, and we're going to say exactly everything they've said to us as men about their standards, right? For instance, they'll say, I'm not going to take a woman on a date, or I don't want a woman to take me on a date unless she taking me to somewhere that's expensive and she got to spend $300. Drizzle, drizzle. I mean, you asking me how I'm doing about my day, but you ain't paying on my rent. Drizzle, drizzle. I ain't dating a woman that's making less than $600,000 a year. Drizzle, drizzle. Right? Saying the same bullshit that women were saying about men and their standards and everything else. And when I tell you guys, women have been butthurt about the response. You ought to look up Drizzle Drizzle, social media, and see if you don't die laughing from everything that's being said. Because all the men have decided to do in response to 4B is say the exact same thing that women have said towards men and be funny about it. They're not even being serious, but women are taking it serious and they're all butthurt, right? So what do you think about Drizzle Drizzle versus 4B? Is it helping? Is any of this helping? You know, the men right now are being petty. That's what this Drizzle Drizzle is about. It's funny as hell, but you can't move men, right? You can't move men at this point in time because they've heard it all. You know, you called us gay, you called us broke, you called us all this other stuff just to degrade us because of the stuff that you deemed as what you wanted as a modern woman in today's time when it came to dating. Okay, cool. So now they're using reverse psychology and you guys are butthurt. But is any of it helping? Right? What's the end goal? Somebody tell me what's the end goal. If you're dating or trying to date, does 4B or Drizzle Drizzle, does any of these help the end goal of getting into a long-term healthy relationship that possibly leads to a healthy long-term marriage? Let me know. I can tell you it doesn't. I can tell you it doesn't. And I understand the men out there who are just trolling the fuck out of these women. And trust me, there are women who do not subscribe to the 4B movement who find this trolling of men, you know, trolling women with Drizzle Drizzle, they find it hilarious, right? It's absolutely hilarious. However, is it helping? I get it. We're giving them a dose of their own medicine, but is it helping or is it causing more division? All right. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Drizzle Drizzle versus 4B. Is it helping or is it causing more division? Now that you know what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that the powers that be, they want us, especially within the Black community, they want us to stay single, right? They want us to stay pitted against each other because they're afraid of the family dynamic. They're afraid of the family nucleus, and they're afraid of the buying power and the potential of ownership and legacy that could be left if there is a nucleus Black family in play, right? So where's the Black family now? You know, all been but destroyed, right? It's all been but destroyed. And we've been at each other in the Black dating community since COVID, right? You didn't see any of this stuff. Like, you heard about this stuff. We knew that there was some women out there that didn't like men, and, you know, the trope, all men are dogs and stuff like that. And, you know, amongst all the twerking videos of all time in this media space, there were a lot of women out there twerking and doing what they do, right? But is it helping? When pandemic hit, a lot of stuff came to the forefront that we didn't have to think about, right? One of the stuff that came to the forefront was what? Divorce rates. Because you had to stay at home with your spouse, work from home with your kids, work from home with your significant other. Everybody's on computers. And then you realize, I don't really like this motherfucker. I don't really like my kids. My kids are bad as hell. Is this what they're doing in school? Man, my spouse is dumb as shit. I don't know how he or she got the promotion. What do they really do at work? Is this what you do at work? It was a lot of that going on, right? So divorce rates went up. Red pill came into play. And red pill, for those who don't know, are men who think like alpha males and try to establish the alpha male mentality and have, basically when it comes to women, they ain't going. They ain't falling for none of the bullshit. They ain't playing none of the bullshit games. It's either you get with it or you get lost, right? They kind of woke up and doing anything. And then women came out with their own stuff, and we've been at it ever since. Now it's reached a fever pitch, which is 4B versus Drizzle, right? And even though one is not supposed to be taken serious, which is Drizzle, right? One is not supposed to be taken serious. It's literally just a reverse psychology and a mind fuck to those who are saying the stuff that they're saying in 4B, right? Giving them a taste of their own medicine. But at the end of the day, on both sides of the coins, is it helping? Is it helping bring relationships together? Do you want to be in a relationship? For those who subscribe to either or. If you're in a relationship, do you see both sides of the coin? Based on if you're a male or female, do you see either side of the coin? Let me hear it in the chat. And again, if you want to come on live, if you're on Facebook, I want you to put your name on Facebook and we'll bring you in live. If you're watching me on YouTube, I can bring you in live as well. Just be prepared to be in front of a camera. Okay. So the person that said they want to go live, go ahead and put your Facebook name, or if you got my number, hit me on Messenger. We can go from there, and I'm gonna get you on live. We're gonna get your opinion because I really want to have this conversation about what do we think about 4B, right? What do we think about Drizzle? Is any of it helping? Does any of it help you reach your goal, or does it cause more division, right? And then we got a few ladies in here, maybe one or two. I want to hear from you, ladies. What are you thinking, right? Now, on the surface, again, let me reiterate, because I know I didn't say that right. Let me reiterate that 4B on the surface, if it is used to vet men more properly before you become sexually active with them, I definitely agree with that. Okay. But that's just the surface, right? There's got to be more layers to that. And there's no unified message. So you got to have a unified message if 4B is actually what you're trying to do. All right. If it's not what you're trying to do and you're trying to leverage it for sex, you're going to lose. As a matter of fact, Drizzle is really just outdoing 4B right now at this very moment. The message of 4B has been drowned. They're trying to save it. It's on life support. It's been drowned. All right. So somebody said, what's the male to female ratio? Are we talking the United States? Because if we're talking the United States, males are winning, right? As far as male to female ratio, there are more females than males, right? So in that sense, males are winning, right? Are we talking across the globe? I don't know the numbers across the globe. I got to look that up. But I know in the United States, we're winning, right? As far as winning, as far as what the ratio is, okay? Poindexter said, gonna help save some money because I'm not spending ish on a 4B chick. I need at least 7. Listen, after that, Brandon, you're supposed to say drizzle. You're supposed to hit him with that drizzle, right? You're supposed to do like this, hit him with that drizzle. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think in the comments? Let me know. What up, Fred? Fred said, real talk, my brother. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because honestly, this is not helping. This is not helping. Not at all. It's not helping the black man and the black woman come together. It's just not. And I understand what the black man who does subscribe to Drizzle Drizzle and the soft man era, because that's what it's called, the soft man era Drizzle Drizzle. Look that up. Those who subscribe to that to be petty and to be trolling, I definitely understand the reason behind it. You're just trying to give them a taste of their own medicine. However, are we going to come to the table now and talk like adults and try to figure out what we can do to bring back the relationship in the black community? You know? Because I know we've tried to talk to them all day long, man, right? We've tried to have conversations with them, and we've tried to talk to them, and there are those that listen. Not everybody subscribes to the 4B movement. That's just what it is, right? But it's few and far between. It's the small group who are making of the small group of feminist women who are taking it to the extreme, right? Because they're not womanists, they're feminists. There's a difference. Look that up, right? The difference between womanist and feminist. But there's a small group of feminist women who have been weaponized, and they're trying to project this message based on the sisterhood to a lot of other women, right? And in order to not seem like they're not in a sisterhood, a lot of other women sometimes will become the echo chamber to that message, right? No different than sometimes what men do on their echo chamber and what we're trying to say, right? However, we as men lately have been saying and standing up for ourselves by saying, no, we're not going to subscribe to you telling us that we need to make 6 figures or better just to date you and you work at McDonald's. We're not subscribing to the fact of saying you need to, as a man, I need to already come put together and you got 4 or 5 different baby daddies, right? I need to have a house while you have an apartment. I need to pay all your bills and I just met you. Like a lot of these things we as men, we're not subscribing to. We're not. Okay? We're not subscribing to. And so they don't like it. So we've been called everything but a child of God, but that's okay because real men have stood up and standed on their business and said what they said. And it didn't come from malice. You know, we're just holding women accountable, and some women don't like that. And other women are quiet because they don't want to get called to pick me and everything else like that, right? They don't want to get that stamp of not being for the sisterhood, you know. It's funny because is there a brotherhood like that? Like, do men subscribe to other men's bullshit, or do we call each other out when it's something that doesn't logically make sense? Let me know in the comments. Is there that same kind of brotherhood for men that there is like for sisters, like the sisterhood, you know, girl code? I know there's bro code, right? But even that's sketchy to a certain extent. But these sisters, you know, these women, they have this sisterhood. And if you're not a part of the sisterhood, you're like a pick-me, right? That's what they call you, a pick-me, right? Because you don't subscribe and you don't hate men like they do. But the end result is 4B's dead on arrival. It's been killed. Drizzle Drizzle is killing the game. And it's going to last because men are tired, right? Men are tired of, just like women are tired, right? But men are tired for a different reason. I think women are tired. Like women are tired for a reason that has to do with their choices. Men are tired because they weren't given a choice at all. They were overlooked for certain other criteria, right? Like women are choosing the top 1%, and you know, they're trying to choose, you know, naturally what they do while operating in their femininity. They're trying to choose the better person who can take care of them and stuff like that. But spoiler alert, it's not always the guy who's six figures. It's not always the guy with money. You know why? Because he got options. He already has options because in America, the ratio of men to women are in his favor. Okay. Then he has money, right? So that widens his options more than just him being a man in America, right? But we didn't tell you to sleep, women. We didn't tell you to sleep with the Pookie and Ray Rays no more than you told us black men to sleep with the Keishas and LaShawns, right? We both made mistakes on choosing people to be with. But the difference is we as men, we weren't always going for women with money, right? We may have been going for women with looks, but we're visual, right? That plays to our masculinity. Not an excuse because, again, the women with looks all the time, or not all the time, are not the suitable ones that we should have been with, right? Women have gone for the men with the money or the bad boys, right? The thugs, the gangsters, the ones who's know is going to knock you up, leave you out, probably beat the brakes off you, and then, you're no more, right? So there's a difference. What I'm saying is we both have chosen wrong, right? In the black community, we both have come from homes that don't have a father and before we get into it, an absent mother, right? Just because she has the kids don't mean she's a mother. And we're going to get into that too, because there's a lot of toxic femininity that's been overlooked, right? We're going to get into it on this channel. But if we both come from broken homes, no male role model in the picture, what makes men different from women, or women think that men are different, that they're different from men when it comes to choosing a mate? All right. Let me know in the comment sections what you think. A man said, what do these 4B women look like? Oh, they look real zesty. Some of them look good, right? Some of them look good, no cap, but some of them look real zesty, right? As my cuz aggravated man would say, some of them look like the side of a refrigerator. Yeah. But there's some big guys too, and big women need love too. So, hey, it is what it is. But to have that mind frame and you look like that and you work at McDonald's or you work at Burger King or you work any other job that you require the man that you want to be with not to work at, and he don't work at, yeah, you real zesty. You real zesty. All right. Real zesty. So that's what 4B is. That's what it looks like. Look like CB4. Yeah. They look like CB4 and after, before and after. That's what they look like. All right. They look, it's just a bad decision for you to have that kind of attitude and you want to be in 4B, right? I don't think nobody was tapping that in the first place. That's just my personal opinion. And if they was, it wasn't the quality of man. I think you were settling, and that's why you're mad, because you're mad at your own choices. Again, on the surface, I agree. If you want a man and you want to vet a man before you give him the goodies, vet him, right? But let's be honest. A lot of you women, or some of you women, I'm not going to say a lot, some of you women think your vagina is going to keep a man. And some of you leave with your vagina because that's literally all you have to bring to the table, right? Just like some men leave with their money because that's all they have to bring to the table. See, it goes both sides, right? That's the whole point of this discussion. It goes both sides. It goes both sides. All right, let me know. Leave your comments in the chat or ask to come on live. Got through that first topic, down to 4 viewers. I'm so sorry. Down to 4 viewers. We're going to keep it up. It's been a little bit serious. We're going to go up a little bit and switch topics. Y'all ready for this? What are your thoughts about the Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole beef? What are your thoughts? Who's even paying attention to that beef? Where my hip hop heads at? Who's paying attention to that beef? You know what? I think in the beginning, because it's gotten very interesting. They say it's over a female. They say it's over a woman. I don't know. I don't know what it's over, right? What I do know is this level of hip hop hasn't been seen in a while. And I'm for it. But as a turn of events would happen, J. Cole ended up apologizing live at one of his shows. And everybody, for the most part, has been clowning him about it, right? So if you paid attention to the beef, it didn't just start, but it just started officially when Kendrick did that verse on Like That, Metro Boomin and Future song, right? How many people heard that verse? That was a dope ass verse. I like that verse. That verse was given what it was supposed to be given. Okay. It was given what it was supposed to be given. But at the same time, it was like a warning shot. It was a good warning shot for me. Yeah, Kendrick is up. Kendrick is up. My man said somebody better say something because Kendrick is up. You know, J. Cole, he did his thing with that 7-minute drill, right? Good warning shot, right? And I heard a little bit of leaked audio from what Drake was saying. He's basically saying the same thing about, you know, how he just decided to come out. You know, he comes out every 7 whatever years, and you know, but it's a good warning shot, right? But J. Cole comes back and apologizes. He drops 7-minute drill and he comes back and apologizes. What do you think about that? Is that what we're supposed to do in rap? You know, rap beef? I mean, keep it 100. This is all on wax, right? So far. And this is what we want. This is what our culture, as it relates to hip hop and music and black folk, this is what it's built off, right? It's built off beef, right? KRS-One, his beef. Kool Moe Dee, his beef. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the infamous Biggie and Pac beef, Jay and Nas beef. All these beef on wax. My favorite was Jadakiss and Benny Siegel when Benny had Jada and Nas at the same time. Okay. That's what it was. Benny and Nas at the same time. Kenny, I'm gonna bring you on, bro. I want to get your opinion about this beef. Okay. I want to get your opinion about this beef. But again, this beef has been doing what it's doing. And it's basically putting people in a place where they feel conflicted, because on one hand, they want this beef. They want the fire. These are 3 great people. Now, as a side note, nobody's mentioning Big Crit. Okay. Mississippi stand up. Nobody's mentioning Big Crit. Nobody. Okay. And that's sad, because Big Crit is one of the best out of Mississippi, right? He's one of the best, if not the best out of Mississippi. Shout out David Banner too. Okay. But Big Crit is one of those guys who's not mentioned. And he responded to, you know, I think K-Dot's Control verse with Mount Olympus, right? He responded to K-Dot's Control verse with Mount Olympus. So nobody gave him a response. Nobody responded to him, right? So with Big Crit out the picture, I don't think the big 3 of Mount Rushmore in today's time is completed. I think it's K-Dot, J. Cole, Drake, and Big Crit. Okay. I think that's what it is. But they didn't mention Big Crit, so whatever. Okay. I think they scared, to be honest. They scared of Crit. Okay. Because Crit's Mount Olympus was nothing to sneeze at. and he didn't even respond using using the Kendrick Lamar Control beat because he wanted to do something original. And that's what makes him dangerous, right? Right. But anyway, Big Crit. He said Beanie lost. My man said Beanie lost that competition. Yeah, well, yeah, I think Beanie slightly lost that competition with Jada and Nas. I mean, Nas really didn't have to handle him because he was going after Jay. Jada came after Beanie, so that was a pretty good. I think Beanie definitely lost, but he handled him, on that Beans verse when he attacked Jada and Nas at the same time. So we'll talk about that later. Anyway, what do we think about J. Cole apologizing? What do we know about J. Cole apologizing? My man Brandon said he don't know about Crit yet, maybe top 100. Listen, Crit is in there, bro. Crit is in there. If you don't know Crit music, imagine a Pimp C, but way more lyrical and way more delivery. Not saying Pimp C was not lyrical at all. He was straightforward. He had a good delivery, right? But just like if Jay-Z sounded like Pimp C with the same lyrics or with a Southern approach to it. You know what I mean? Like Crit really be putting out some good music. He really be putting out some good music, right? He said, it was all good till he apologized. Yeah, it was all good till he apologized, man. That's what it was. It was all good till he apologized. I think he was right for apologizing though. You know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, just in my opinion, I don't think that Like That was really for J. Cole. I think that was just for Drake. Okay. Because when he said Prince outlived Mike Jack, that was for Drake, right? That was for Drake. Right. So Drake, I don't know. I mean, he washed. Whew, I hate to say it like that, but he dusted Meek Mills. Okay, he dusted Meek Mills, and with Meek Mill's current situation, Pusha T, I think he lost that battle. I think he lost that Pusha T battle. Right, that's just me, and I think Jay Prince stepped in because the story of Adidon. Or Adonis, whatever it was called, Pusha T dropped last. I think that was something. And I think Drake took that personally. He was gonna spaz out and Jay Prince heard it and he was like, nah, brother, we ain't doing that. Right. But I think he lost. I think he lost that battle. Right. Pusha T is in your top 5. Okay. Hey. Pusha T is dope. He's been talking about dope for years, but he's still dope as an artist, right? Pusha's very nice, right? However, if Drake had trouble with Pusha, how do you think he's going to fare against a K Dot? Okay. Because K Dot is no pushover. Let's just get that over with right now. K Dot's no pushover. K Dot is somebody who you got to take seriously. I think Cole edges out K Dot a little bit, but it's like it's back and forth. I can't give anyone the one up, right? Cole's delivery is good. K Dot delivery is good. They're both complex. I think Drizzy he's an adapter. He can adapt to any beat, any era, but he do be saying some shit, But I want to see how you think it stacks up. Okay. How you think it stacks up. I think Cole did the right thing by apologizing. I'm just going to say it. He did the right thing. Because at the end of the day, I don't think it was for him. I don't think Like That was for him. I just don't. Right? Again, when he said Prince outlived Mike Jack, I don't think it was for him. All right. However, does that affect his credibility later on in his music for beef? All right. Because you remember when Cole was semi-beefing with NBA Youngboy. I mean, it wasn't really no beef, but he threw a couple shots at him. on that Lil Yachty track. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool, you know. It's cool. I honestly think at the end of the day, Cole was right for apologizing. He should have waited because I think it was at, Drake. But I think K Dot was like, any one of you motherfuckers can respond and it's gonna be on. It is what it is. But I think K Dot's next shot is definitely gonna be at Drake. And it's gonna have a little bit more of J. Cole in it. And I think J. Cole is gonna be, namasteing to the point where he just can't respond. Because if he responds now, even after whatever K Dot says, it's a wrap. Right? How you gonna apologize and come back and reignite the beat? Because you just, want to respond. Pick and choose. So I think he's not going to respond. I think K-Dot wins that with Drake. Drake is a good dude. I know Drake can spaz out, but I think if they just let Drake off the leash and let him do what he want to do and say what he want to say, I think it'll be a good battle. I think a lot of people will surprise it because Drake is extra petty. That's the reason he won that Meek Mill battle, because he copied off Jay-Z and just stayed petty the whole time. Right? He stayed petty the whole time. Pusha T hit the right button on Drake. He didn't know how to respond when he said something about Shock. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Pusha T knew what it was. He slapped the shit out of Drake with that. And Drake wanted to respond, but again, it was like, nah, he can't do it. He can't do it. That's why I said, if they let Drake off the leash, I think it'll be better. I think it'd be a better battle if they let him off the leash, right? Because when I say leash, the handlers, the people who handle these artists and kind of help control the image and career and things like that, right? So I think if they let him off the leash, I think it'll be good, right? My man said, my top 5 better than yours. Who are you talking about? Your top 5 better than whose? Mine? Possibly. I have a different taste in music. My top 5, if we're talking overall, right? We're talking overall, my top 5 is definitely going to be Ice Cube. And the order that it's in is no particular reason. I like Ice Cube for storytelling. No Vaseline is still one of the best diss tracks of all time. I like Tupac for his storytelling. Hit 'Em Up is one of the best diss tracks of all time. Okay. I like Jadakiss, right? And he handled I don't know when this guy is missed. So I got Ice Cube, Tupac, Jadakiss. I got Fabulous, number 4 spot. Most underrated, just very underrated, right? And it's a tie for me between Andre 3 Stacks and Eminem, right? Actually, it's a 3-way tie. Let me take that back. Andre 3 Stacks, Eminem, and Redman. Okay. That's my 3-way tie for the top 5, the 5th spot. Andre 3 Stacks, Eminem, and Redman. Honorable mention, Corrupt. Okay. Honorable mention, Corrupt. Okay. Another honorable mention is, and I've never seen him in a real battle, but I think he can just do what he do, is Method Man. All right. If Big L were here, he'd give it to Jay-Z. If Big L were here, he'd give it to Jay-Z. But, honorable mention is going to be Corrupt and Method Man. They round out my 5th spot. But I like those guys, right? Andre 3 Stacks is amazing. He brings that Southern art. Oh, I can't forget about Bun B. Honorable mention for another 5th spot. Bun B I don't think he's ever missed on a feature. I don't think he's ever missed on a verse, period. Like, he just I don't know. He's listen, if you pay attention to these people's career, without the obvious of Tupac, the people I mentioned in my top 5, especially the honorable mentions, listen, it's definitely a situation, right? Big J Rock, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in. Listen, appreciate it. I know I'm naming people that's been slept on. However, right? However, my top 5 is debatable. Again, it's debatable. I didn't mention Biggie. Not saying Big is a bad rapper or not a bad rapper. I did like his storytelling. I love his music. But I just think when you compare Big to like a Mos Def or Talib Kweli or Common or something like that, or let's scratch all of them. Let's compare Big for me. If you compare Big to like an E40 or I don't know, RZA, Inspector Deck. I mean, Raekwon, to me, Raekwon was definitely one of those people, that Big was like, Nas said Big was still in the slang. That's what Nas said. Because Raekwon and Big never got along. Y'all probably didn't know that. Brandon says top 5 is Jay, Mos Def, Redman, Black Thought, Pusha T, and Royce da 5'9". Listen, that's a solid top 5. Okay, let's be honest. That's a solid top 5. Solid top 5. Okay. Jay is definitely a good businessman and a good dude. He quiet as a church mouse now that this Diddy thing is out because they saying he even worse. And I don't know if people remember the reports of him and his father-in-law just ordering a bunch of hoes and prostitutes. That's why Miss Mama Knowles got upset. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We talk about career and music. So Jay is definitely there. Mos Def is definitely there. I think Mos Def is underrated. To be honest. Right? Lyrically, he's underrated. Right? Black Thought, that man is definitely underrated. Okay? He underrated. Every freestyle or every feature he's done, he's killed it. Right? He's killed it. Right? Black Thought, definitely underrated. Pusha T, love it. Definitely a solid choice. Royce da 5'9", definitely solid choice. Even though I like what's my man name from Slaughterhouse? I like him a little bit better than Royce. Royce is good. Don't get me wrong. I forgot who else was on Slaughterhouse, but I like them a little bit better than Royce. Slightly. Right? I mean, another honorable mention would have been damn, what's that dude's name? Yeah, Ortiz. There you go. Thank you, Big. Ortiz. That's what I like. I like Ortiz a little bit better than Royce. That's just me. Right? Speaking of Slaughterhouse, did y'all think Joe Buttons was right for what he did when they tried to bring Slaughterhouse back? And Crooked Letters was like, he presented him with the contract, and Joe and him and Ortiz got online and they hashed it out in the worst way possible. Did y'all think about that? Anyway, we're going to move on. That's your top 5. Good top 5. My man said all top 5s are debatable. That is true. Get the likes and the comments up. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is kind of how this is going to go. We're winging it. There'll be a little bit more topics coming up in future shows, but I definitely want you to understand that this is what it is. We vibing, we drinking, we having fun, we on live, we talking, and it's going how it's going. It's given something that you can vibe and watch too. We're going to have opinions. We're going to get opinionated. We're going to have guests come in and sit on that side of the table and have a good interview, right? So be ready for that. If you know me and you know this was coming, you knew that I was going to ask for an interview, right? Most Def is definitely slept on. You are definitely correct, bro. Definitely correct. Right. All right. Last topic before we go. We're gonna make this real quick. If you're an NBA fan, who's your team? Will they make it to the finals? Why or why not? I haven't followed the NBA too much recently. I'm sorry. I've been on some other stuff. I've been doing some other stuff, trying to get this podcast ready, making moves here and there in the streets, trying to get other stuff, getting more clients. I haven't watched the NBA. I watched the Kings play yesterday. I don't know if they won or not. They had the Pelicans. Zion was looking pretty iffy in the first 2 quarters. I watched the New York and Boston game. Okay. Those guys were definitely hooping. It was a close game. Okay. But I don't have a team. I don't have a team this year. I haven't had a team really since, Boston had they run with Paul Pierce and those guys, right? Ray Allen. Excuse me. My team used to be the Bulls, of course. I was a Bulls fan, even though I was on the West Coast and I would go to Kings games. Okay. Pelican won. Okay. Pelican won. That's pretty good. I'm glad they won. My man said I don't watch the NBA until the playoffs. I get it. I get it. I'm the same way. That's why I get interested in the NBA. And I don't know why it is. I think the NBA is a little bit soft. I'm just going to say what some people have been saying. Stephen A. Smith have probably said it. I think it's a little bit soft. Okay. I think, they have their GOAT of this era, which I don't think he's the GOAT. I think he's a solid player. Okay. I think he's a solid player, but I don't think he's the GOAT. I'm sorry. I like the guy, and he's had better off-court success just in his marital life than my GOAT, which is MJ. Okay. So I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. I'm sorry. I just don't. Nobody's afraid of LeBron. He's been beaten. Nobody's afraid of LeBron. Okay. Nobody is afraid. Steph is not afraid to take on LeBron. There's no fear. There's no, we got to have LeBron. There's none of that. Right. Right. The man says Zion, most improved player of the year. I don't know. Is he? I mean, Zion's been quiet as a church mouse. I mean, he made this big splash in the NBA and the ripple stopped. Okay. The ripple stopped, in my opinion. Has the Pelicans even made the playoffs since he's been in the NBA? Again, I don't know. I haven't watched. I'm like my man. I only watch, when it gets to the playoffs, right? But when Zion came in the league, I thought he was going to be a legit challenge to LeBron, or somewhat of a challenge, But yeah, no. Look. My man said any real superstar ain't afraid of nobody. You know what? No. Because you can ask all the guys that played with Mike and played against Mike. They talked that stuff to Mike, and it was Mike shut him down, and they ain't talk no more. And you knew with Mike on the team playing that it was a likelihood that you were going to lose. Okay? Likelihood. So again, when LeBron's coming, nobody's afraid of LeBron because he's beatable. He's a good actor. Okay. But again, I give him his flowers. He got championships. He's done, amazing things on and off the court. He's this era's GOAT. I'm not going to argue with that. For this era, that's where it stops for me. And I know that's Jay's cousin. I know they families. What do y'all think about his son entering the draft? What do you think? Look, my man said, my man said, I need to. First he said Zion balling. Zion is balling. He's balling to me. I mean, he had a rough start, but I don't know what I think, FanDuel or what's the name had them over, So I don't know. I can't really say. I can't really say. First year, he's fully healthy and leading them to the playoffs. Who we talking about, Biggs? Are we talking about LeBron or are we talking about Zion? What we talking about? Yeah, they were all scared of MJ. They listen, when you play MJ, you know you like shit. We got the Bulls. Right? And you know, I think Haha Davis or one of the Davises, the comedian, he was saying comparing how LeBron is the GOAT versus MJ debate, right? And he was saying, in short, he was saying, oh, so that's Big Chris. He was saying that he was saying LeBron did it with different teams, right? And MJ only did it with a supporting cast and a good coach. And I would argue that, well, if LeBron did it with different teams, he had to go to those teams to get the same cast that MJ already had with one team. And when MJ was losing to the Pistons with that same team, he still stayed with that same team and did what he did and got his rings. That's what one of the ways that makes him the GOAT. Now, LeBron staying in the league all this time and still playing and all this stuff and making all these points and break. Yeah, of course you're going to break points. The longer you're in, the better. Okay. But, you know, and people like my man like to say, the eras were different. The eras were different. Okay. The eras were different. Yes, the eras are different. But if you say the GOAT, you got to be able to put that player in another era. If MJ was healthy and in this era, prime MJ would devour a lot of people in this league. Okay. If Kobe was here and still alive, he didn't even look at LeBron as the GOAT. Right? If Kobe was still alive and he still played, you think LeBron would even make it to the Lakers? As a player. I'm just saying. You know why LeBron was never going to win in Cleveland until he came back? LeBron was never going to win in Cleveland because that was a personal thing. There were players on his team fucking his mother. That's why he decided to go take his talents to South Beach. Plus, he couldn't get what he wanted. It's his team. They had the money for it, and they dicked him. They dicked him. They dicked him, right? They dicked LeBron in Cleveland when he first came to the league. That's just facts. Okay. They dicked him. They didn't give him what he want. Then they started messing with his moms. It's time to go. It's time to go. The only thing difference between, in my opinion, and this is just a dumb opinion, but the only thing difference is between LeBron and what 6ix9ine did is LeBron didn't snitch. That was it. He still left. He still went to another team. But again, he's this GOAT's era. You know. He's this GOAT's era. Okay. He's this era's GOAT. I'm saying it all backwards. Mike would have won 5 chips in a row if he didn't retire for 2 years. And that's the thing. Mike retired for 2 years, came back, and still won. Let that sink in. Can LeBron retire and come back? Can LeBron retire and come back and still win championships? Can he retire and come back? Okay. I'm just saying we gotta consider these things when we're talking about the GOAT debate. We got to consider these things. Okay. It took him 2 years to win. Come on, Kenny. It took who 2 years? We talking LeBron or Mike? Who we talking? It took Who 2 years to win? Okay. To me, I think it's Larry Bird as far as skills, people that are dangerous to play against. I think first is Larry Bird, because Larry Bird would talk that shit like Mike. There are facts where Larry Bird has came in and talked that shit like Mike. It took MJ 2 years to win. Man, listen, he came back and still won. LeBron quit in the finals at least twice. It's like he got to the finals and just, I don't know. But again, he got his championships. He did it with Miami. He did it with LA. Okay, 2 teams. Come on. But I don't even think LeBron's better than Kobe. Okay. Because again, you got Kobe, mind mentality of MJ, he gonna get in your ass. You got to see him, right? But I don't think Kobe is as dangerous as Larry Bird. I just don't. I don't think Kobe is as dangerous as Larry Bird. I don't think Kobe is as dangerous as prime Larry Bird or prime MJ. Just my opinion. But with all this talk, are the Lakers going this year? Are they going to win the championship? Who's coming out the West? Who's coming out the West? That's what I want to know. MJ couldn't win. Yeah, LeBron couldn't win till he went to Miami. He had Wade and Bosh. I mean, if we're going to say that LeBron can't win because, or MJ can't win because he had to have a supporting cast, he needed a supporting cast in Cleveland. If he had the supporting cast in Cleveland, he would have won. He would have won. And that's just facts. They dicked him in Cleveland when he first got there. They wouldn't give him what he wanted. They start fucking with his money. They start fucking with his moms. They dicked him. Right? So I said, who coming out the West? My man said the West is up for grabs. Is it? How the Clippers doing? That's all I want to know. How the Clippers doing? Yeah, who won the chip without good players? Like I said, that's not really an argument. Come on, man. Come on. And that's what Davis was trying to make. You know, he's trying to make an argument that LeBron did it. And he still had a supporting cast. He had a good coach. All these things make a great championship player. He did it with 2 teams. MJ did it with 1 team. You know, so MJ was defensive player of the year. MJ is a threat on both sides of the ball. LeBron is a threat on one side of the ball. That's just what it is. Yeah, you can't say that he had to have help. Y'all like LeBron had to do it on his own, like Mike had to do it. Mike didn't do it on his own. But he was the star player who made sure it got done. When that ball and that time clock was at its last few seconds, they gave it to Mike, and Mike was 90% chance of hitting that shot. Mike was going, unless he already heated up in the 4th, where he didn't have to make that shot because they were so far ahead. My man said, you better be glad I wasn't in here with you. We go ahead and talk, Kenny. We go ahead and talk. I'm gonna bring you on. I ain't scared of the smoke because again, I don't know. Okay. I'm not watching the NBA, but at the end of the day, nobody's scared of LeBron. That's just facts. Bird will tell you what he thinks of LeBron because he played against MJ. He can tell you. Real players will tell you. Okay. I don't know enough b-ball. I know enough b-ball to know that compared to MJ, LeBron better stay in the league a couple more years to win the kind of titles and to win the trophies MJ's won. That's all I'm saying. If we're going off pure rings, he better stay in there a few more years. Hope them legs and stuff keep up. My man said I could pick 5 bench players from the NBA that'll get busy. Yeah, they get busy. Listen, I'm not knocking LeBron as far as what he's done and his impact to the game, his impact to the game for this era. What I am saying is, even on impact alone, LeBron's shoe sales is not as high, right? People are still buying Jordans. So, how are you an impactful player if you don't have as many championships and you stayed in the league longer, right? Yeah, you got points. You're still in the league. You're still playing. You're still playing, right? LeBron is not the GOAT of all time. He's the GOAT of this era. And I'm definitely able to give him that. Listen, all kinds of smoke. Kenny, you know me, man. You know me. And you know what? I'm gonna let my audience battle for you, battle for me. Because again, when it comes to the NBA and stats, I quit watching after that Paul Pierce run, and it just got boring. You know, nobody really stood out. Okay, except my man's from Atlanta, and then my man's from the Blazers. I forgot their names, but you know, it's not always about rings. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Kenny. It is. That's the reason you play the game. That in the NBA, it's about the ring. It is. It's about the ring. That's the whole reason you play, bro. That's the whole reason you play. Now, this I can get behind. Durability, LeBron's the GOAT. He is. That's a tough. That's what I said. He tough. He a tough dude. LeBron is a solid player. He is the GOAT of this era. But better than MJ and Kobe and Bird? No. Bill Russell has more rings than MJ, and he hasn't even made as big of an impact as MJ. Because it's about rings, right? It's about rings, it's about impact. Bill Russell is the greatest NBA player of all time. He has more rings than MJ, more rings than Kobe, way more rings than LeBron will ever wish to have. And he's played in the league longer than all 3 of them. 4 of them, if you count Bill Russell. Okay. Yeah, Bill Russell is the great. You're right. Bill Russell is the greatest as far as rings are concerned, right? But yet and still, Bill Russell has still managed to get more rings than LeBron in a shorter amount of time. And LeBron has been in the league longer. Okay? I respect LeBron. I do. I just don't think he's the GOAT of all time. He's not a threat. Larry Bird's more of a threat in his prime. Larry Bird's more of a threat in his prime. MJ is more of a threat in his prime. Bill Russell is more of a threat in his prime. All of them, if you want to talk supporting cast, all of them had a supporting cast. Okay. If the Detroit Pistons of the Bulls era were playing any team you put LeBron on, be it the Lakers or the Heat, Pistons all day, every day. Prime Pistons with Dennis Rodman and I can't think of all the other players, but prime Pistons when they were beating the brakes off Mike versus LeBron and any team you put him on. Okay. They had 8 teams back in the day. I think they had more than 8 teams when Bill Russell was playing. I think they had more than that. Bill Russell shouldn't be in this conversation. Well, if it's about rings, he should. He definitely should. He definitely should. If it's about rings, Bill Russell should definitely be in this conversation all day, every day. Right? Right? He should definitely be in this conversation. Okay. My man said Bill Russell play with all whites. Well, right now, that white boy in what is it? Dallas? That white boy balling. That white boy balling. Okay. And even though he played in a league with all whites, he still got 8 rings. If we're talking rings, he still got 8 or 9 or however many he got. He got more than MJ, right? We're still talking, if we're talking rings, he got more than MJ. LeBron will never be a Bill Russell as far as rings are concerned. LeBron will never be an MJ as far as rings are concerned. That is just facts. And LeBron is, you can say whatever you want to say, but LeBron is still in the league and he doesn't have the trophies, the trophy that you play in the league for, which is the championship trophy. He doesn't have the amount. So you can't call him the greatest of all time. You can call him the greatest of all time for this era. But again, Steph Curry has how many rings? With the same team? Rings do make the player. Rings do make the player. You know why it makes the player? Because that's why they play. They play for the rings. They play for the championship. That's why they play. That's why they got in the NBA to win championships. Okay. Rings do make the player. It's the end all be all to the player. Okay. You get in the league, you come to the league, not just to make money, but you come to the league for the championship. That's any league you go to. You come to the league for the championship. Okay. That's what it is. That's what it is. I know I'm aggravating the hell out of Kenny. I fucks with him. That's my brother. All these my brothers on here. What up, Biggs? Brandon, Kenny, all these my brothers on here. I fuck with them all. Definitely appreciate them tuning in. Definitely appreciate everybody who tuned in. I know we went over time about 17 minutes, but that's what happens when you talk about the NBA. Why does it matter? Because a person leave a team. It matters because a person leave the team if the person claims to be the greatest, right? Unless they can do it consistently with every team they get on. LeBron didn't do it with every team he got on consistently, but he did do it with every team he got on, even when he came back to the Cavs. I think he came back to the Cavs and won with Shaq, right? Again, I haven't paid attention too much, but I think he won with Shaq. I think he won one with Shaq, right? Right. You come for, what do you say? Russell better have 8 rings. It was so easy. It was too easy. Mike had the top 75 players he played against. Yeah, Mike had a harder competition. He had harder competition. You come for the money. You don't come for the money. Listen, how much do you think basketball players make? In all the sports, hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Basketball players are paid the second to the lowest. They don't have as much inflation or incentives as football players. But your average basketball player is not making baseball money. Baseball getting money. Okay? Baseball getting money. So basketball players they getting money, but they ain't getting baseball money. Football players getting money, but they getting more money than basketball players. That's just what it is. So you come for the competition. I mean, you get paid. I ain't gonna say you get paid, but ain't nothing like that baseball money. Okay. Ain't nothing like that baseball money. D-Wade won with Shaq. Okay, yeah, he probably did. I know Shaq was on the Cavs for a minute, I think, if I'm not tripping, because they made the cover. Hell, even Kevin Hart mentioned it in his special. Because LeBron was there and said, hey, D-Wade, you got Shaq. You may do it this year. So I don't know. I really don't know. All I'm saying is Who you got? Who coming out the East before we go? Is the East up for grabs? Let me know in the comments. Is the East up for grabs? Who's coming out the East? Who do we like? My man said 2 years. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking. Boy, you getting aggravated. Aggravated. Oh, AJ. What's up, AJ? My bad. I'm gonna call you Biggs anyway. Celtics coming out the East. Okay. Celtics coming out the East, and the West is up for grabs. Okay. Maybe the Bucks. Milwaukee's always been dope. I think Milwaukee's underrated. Just my personal opinion, kind of like the Hawks. I think Milwaukee and the Hawks are the two most underrated teams in the NBA. That's just me. Okay. Very happy when Milwaukee won that year. Very happy for them. I'm glad y'all laughing. I'm glad. This is what it's about. We're going to have these conversations and get better, get more topics, be a shorter show. But this is what it's about, okay? Having these kind of conversations, making people laugh, shooting the breeze, talking to shit, getting real, and all the above. But I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Hawks is trash. Hey, man. I may have to agree. I don't know. We'll see. If they make it to the playoffs, I guess. It wasn't about a few years ago they was hooping really good, I thought. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, that is our show, because we can go about this all night. That is our show. Definitely went over 22 minutes, but it was worth it. People came in and checked in on me. Don't forget the hot sauce. Okay? Don't forget the hot sauce. Okay? And next time you guys call in or, check in or whatever the case may be, I'll be sure to get your comments on, just like you have been. Just like that. My brother said Steph turned the whole at franchise. Yeah, the Steph Curry effect. He did have that's what I'm saying. LeBron had his franchise at the Cavs. They didn't give him what he wanted. He had to leave and come back just to get what he wanted. Right? I'm just saying. But anyway. I know baseball plays a lot of games a year, but they get that money. That's baseball money. They still getting paid the most, right? Anyway, it is what it is. That's our show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I definitely appreciate y'all. And stay tuned for more topics, more discussions, more cigars, more drink, more sponsors, more of everything. Actual live guest, right? Like my boy Kenny Cash, who want to give me that smoke. He want to talk about a whole lot of stuff, but he want to give me that smoke, and I'm definitely cool with that. I want to see that smoke. Okay, definitely want him on the show. He's actually going to be on here to talk about health as well. Okay, he has a lot of good products working on coming down the line. Him and his wife, those two are some amazing individuals. We're gonna have my boy on here, Biggs. Okay. I'm not going to call him by his government name, AJ, but he's going to be on the show. We're going to talk politics, shoot the shit. Okay. So this is what it's going to be. This is the pilot. We had a good time. I know we went over, but this is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to go. And that's the show. Love you guys. Thank you for showing up, showing out. Let's continue to grow and stretch and always empower him. Okay. Be empowered. Stay tuned. More coming on the way. Y'all check me out. The Obsidian Lux Group. Shout out to April. That's my boo. I'm going to rub her after this. We can't talk about it. We on there. Anyway, I'm out. My man said the Bucks trash. Look at that.